Hello, MSOE fans, and welcome to the Raider Report, where we sit down with MSOE coaches to discuss all things Raider athletics, from game reactions to recruiting news and everything in between. The Raider Report has all the behind-the-scenes details and news you want. On this special edition of the Raider Report, we celebrate Women in Sports Day and talk to Chloe Moran, Alana Perry, and Anika Einbeck, three MSOE athletes who are representing women's swimming, lacrosse, and hockey, some of our most recent additions to Raider athletics. Enjoy. All right, I am joined at this time by Alana Perry, women's lacrosse player. Alana, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. Thank you for joining us today. So you're going to be on the first ever women's lacrosse team here at MSOE. What does that mean to you, and how has prep gone for this season so far?
Yeah, what that means to me is like starting something new, like starting a new generation for MSOE, really setting the tone in the future for women's sports at MSOE. It's pretty cool. I mean, I have actually started like a women's lacrosse team before. Crazy coincidence. My high school started one, so like I got to do that there as well.
For sure.
So
you're
it's pretty
a
cool
to the experience.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to have that experience again and be a part of something new.
Okay, that's awesome. So tell me about that experience then, how you started playing in high school. Was it just like, we're thinking about starting lacrosse? Were you like at the head of the campaign? Just tell me about that experience.
I had no idea about it at first. It was somebody in the athletic department they sent out the email being like, hey, we're starting this team. Anybody interested? Here's tryouts. This is what's going on. I think it was probably the year before my sophomore year that they were like, we're starting up this new team. And initially, I wasn't thinking twice about it. I didn't even consider it. I was like, I have soccer to play or track to run. Like, I didn't care about lacrosse at all. And then COVID hit, and I was like, now I'm not playing anything. Mm-hmm. So I came back to school my junior year, and I was like, you know what? Might as well try something new. And if I end up liking it, that would be great. If I don't have to play it senior year. But why not be part of something new and switch it up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially after the COVID experience, you realize how much you actually need and want those extracurricular activities.
For sure, yeah.
Especially after being deprived of them. So then talk to me about how you chose MSOE. You said you were a user experience major. I'm assuming that played a little bit of a factor.
Well, I didn't start out as user experience. I actually just switched into it this year. I started out in computer science, and my friend had told me to apply. I wasn't really sure what kind of schools I was looking for. I was just like applying anywhere I could basically. And she told me to apply. So I did, came to the admitted students day, got a feel of campus, realized I really liked where MSOE was and how walkable it was and being in the city. And it just felt right. Like it felt like something I could get used to.
Yeah, no, I'm from Chicago, and you get the big city feel in Milwaukee without as much of the hustle and bustle.
Oh,
like there's
sure.
not the traffic, and everything is walkable, which, like you said, is super nice. For those not familiar, because I'm not an engineer, not everyone is as smart as you guys here. What's the difference between, you said, computer science, and then what's user experience?
Sure. So I started out in computer science because I worked a lot with like computers and coding. I'd taken a couple classes in high school. I was in Girl Scouts, and I like helped run the robotics station, and like that was really cool to like teach young girls about coding and robotics that way. So I was like, for sure, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. I realized in some of my classes, I was like, I don't quite want to be like, I want to be doing something related with tech. I want to be involved with coding and developing, but I didn't want to quite be back end.
Sure.
So I looked into user experience and found that there's two sides to it. There's the design portion and the research portion. The research portion would be like going out and surveying customers, users, potential audience, like target audience of products, and figuring out their needs and their wants for a product, and then taking that over to the design team, who would then make the product, like mock it up, kind of plan it all out, that would make it easiest for the users, like most efficient, most easy way for the users to use this product, and then kind of take that back to the program. So almost being a middleman between like customer and programmer.
Sure. So you get to be a little bit of a people person,
yeah,
while also being, behind the scenes and actually doing the coding.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit. Let's bounce back to lacrosse.
Sure.
Talk to me a little bit about the culture of your team and sports in general at MSOE. It's an exciting time with all the new sports being added seemingly every year. We're getting a new team coming up on the horizon. We have women's hockey, women's wrestling, women's bowling, and men's bowling coming as well. But you guys are up next to make your debut. So talk to me about what it's been like. How has the team come together? I know you have some former soccer athletes filling out the roster, some players who might not necessarily know the game of lacrosse all that well. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest part of our culture on the team is like support and feeling like a family. You know, at the beginning of the year, we were all kind of getting used to each other. We had people who were completely new and people who had been playing for years and years and years. And the biggest part of the fall was like making sure that everybody was still learning and growing, even though we were playing at two completely different levels with each other.
Sure.
But never once throughout the entire fall did it feel like we were butting heads or felt like nobody was supporting the other person for having a lack of experience.
Sure.
So the entire time it's really been like a big support group and everybody's lifting each other up and wanting to help everybody be better and like get up to speed. So seeing that come around now is like we're all this close-knit group, and having people from other sports, it's been like super cool. We've been able to go to the other events and support them and like bring, I don't know, all sports together more.
For sure, that cross-campus camaraderie, if you will. Yeah, like you said, it must be super nice that you guys are a spring sport. You get all that time in the fall to kind of build that chemistry together and even into the winter. Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment on the podcast, Raider Rapid Fire. I didn't send you these questions because I want this off the cuff. I need to know. First off, what's your go-to gear brand in lacrosse? Is it Nike? Is it Adidas? I know we're a Nike school, but I don't know if Nike manufactures the gloves, the helmets, and everything. So, like, what's your preferred lacrosse brand?
So, there's very specific lacrosse brands, at least I've noticed. You're putting me on the spot. I can't remember the names. I know some of them are just, like, called, like, sticks, like STIX, sticks. For cleats, I've gone everywhere. I've done Nike, I've done Adidas, whatever feels comfortable to me at the time. Sure. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much with women's lacrosse. We got the goggles, and we've got our mouth guard that can be anything, and we've got our sticks.
For sure.
So,
all right. Favorite cartoon character or cartoon show?
I'm gonna go have Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay.
I had binged it. And then I went straight into watching Korra, and now it's like whenever somebody asks for a new show, I'm like, have you seen this show? Because if not, you should definitely go watch it.
So what type do you think you would be after watching the show? I feel like everyone places like, oh, I know I'd be an airbender. I know I'd be a waterbender. What do you think you would be?
Ooh, see, I'm a little selfish. I say I would be the Avatar.
For sure.
But I feel like if I had to put myself into one group, maybe an earthbender, but like a cool one, like that can metal bend, something like that.
All right, for sure. What's your go-to pregame song?
Ooh.
Or artist in general, if you can't narrow it down.
I have this saved like game hype up playlist. If I'm really feeling it, I'll do some Latin music or like Bad Bunny, because all Latin music has like really fast beats. Like it all just like, it's really good, like pump up, like energy type of music. So it's like if I don't have a specific song I need, I put that on and I'm just like bump into it.
Gets you in the zone for sure. All right, the last one. You're going to the movies. I need the full order. I need a snack. I need a drink, and I need a candy. What are you getting?
I'm getting a large popcorn, the refillable ones that I take it to the end of the movie, I get a refill, take it home.
You're the first person who has made the distinction that they are getting that refill on the way out.
100%. Every time.
Major props.
Every time.
Major props.
I'm probably going to get a Coke for my drink, and then my candy would either be Crunch Bites or Nerd Gummy Clusters.
Okay, those Nerd Gummy Clusters, I feel like I just found out about those somewhat recently, and those are fire. I'm a
Oh,
huge,
they're so good.
huge
Also,
fan
the
of
ropes. Love a good
Yeah.
nerd gummy rope.
Yeah, you can't beat those. All right, we'll get back on track here. That was a fun little detour. To wrap things up with you, I'll just ask you, how will sports and your experience here impact your life moving forward, and why was it important to you to be a college athlete?
For sure. I think getting back into a sport, it gave me more structure and had me like schedule out my time. Before I almost had too much free time.
Sure.
And I wasn't as productive as I wanted to be, but I knew I wanted to be active. Like, I've been playing sports my entire life. I came to college for a year, didn't play anything, and I was like, I'm too
much freedom.
Too much freedom. Like, I hate not doing anything. So I knew I wanted to get back into it, and out of college, I'm hoping I play some sort of sport, just recreational or club or whatever. If any way I can do to stay active. But I know that, like, being here, it gives me extra motivation to, like, want to do well and, like, keep up my studies and, do well for the team and for myself. So it really, as well as, like, giving me something to look forward to every day, or, like, going to practice and seeing my teammates, getting ready for game days, all that stuff, it really gives me that extra motivation to keep up in school so that I can be the best person, the best student, the best athlete that I can be.
Well, that's kind of like, I believe the phrase is, you want to successful people surround themselves with successful people.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Being with, a team like that, you're always pushing each other to be the best at whether it's on the field or off the field. I want to thank you, Alana, for taking the time to join us on this special edition. Women's lacrosse season right around the corner. We hope to see everyone there for the first ever game. Thank you. Alrighty, and at this time, I'm joined by Anika Einbeck. Anika, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I appreciate you taking the time to join us today. So you're going to be on the first ever women's hockey team at MSOE. What does that mean to you, and how has preparation been for the season so far?
Yeah, so I'm beyond excited. Ever since I came to MSOE in 2021, I've been trying to start a women's hockey team, and now, thanks to the amazing staff here, we are going to make that happen. In preparation for this next season, all the women's team girls that are on campus, we've been hitting the ice and hitting the gym weekly to hit the ground running when the season starts.
Yeah, I see you guys down there sometimes. Numbers-wise, it's still growing. There's
Yes.
only a few of you right now, but you're definitely putting in the work already. Tell me how you started playing hockey. What age and what drew you to this sport?
Yeah, so hockey's always been a huge part of my life. I actually started when I was about 3 years old.
Okay.
So my father played hockey along with one of his brothers, my sister, and about 4 of my other cousins.
Okay.
So I always grew up in the rink, and when we weren't in the rink, we were in the garage shooting pucks or stick handling. So throughout that, playing hockey at a young age, I just grew to love the sport.
So it's in your blood. It runs in the
Yes,
family, clearly.
for sure.
So tell me then, you chose MSOE. We didn't have a hockey team at the time when you came here. Why did you choose MSOE?
This is actually a funny story. So when I started looking for schools, I was trying to find one that I could play hockey while also get my degree in industrial engineering. After a quick few Google searches, quickly found there's actually only 3 programs at that time that had D3 hockey for women and industrial engineering.
Okay.
And I toured those schools and decided, you know what, maybe I got to just look at academics. Didn't really care for the schools all that much. Through that, I found MSOE, and I toured the school. And honestly, after I saw the individual class size, how small it is, how personal, specifically the industrial engineering faculty was, and amazing scholarship opportunities, I decided this was the place for me. And if they didn't have a team, you could try and make something happen.
So talk to me then a little bit about how you came to find out that a team was happening and you were going to be on it. Talk to me about that process of finding out.
Yeah, so it originally started my freshman year. I reached out to the men's D3 head coach and just said, hey, I know we don't have a team. I've kind of seen maybe we've got a women's club team going on. What's the situation? And they explained to me, we don't have a women's team. We've been trying to get one. So I ended up meeting with the assistant head coach for the men's D3 team. And he kind of helped with the process and kept me in the loop of getting a coach and not getting a coach. And so December of my freshman year, we ended up hiring a coach and going through that whole process. So we were told we're in the process of making a team. long story short, we just got a new coach this year, which I am beyond happy for. I love our new coach. I couldn't have asked for anything more. And now with her out in recruiting and with our new AD, we now have a new locker room. We're getting apparel ordered and we're going to have a team. So I'm beyond excited.
So speaking of apparel, we're going to go to everyone's favorite segment, Raider Rapid Fire. I just want the first thing that comes to your head, off the cuff answers here. What's your go-to hockey brand? Are you allegiant to one thing? Do you stick with one brand? Do you mix it up like, oh, my gloves are always this, my skates are always this? What do you gravitate toward?
I typically go for Bauer CCM. I love CCM sticks, but all my gear is primarily Bauer.
And your tape job on your stick. Are you really particular about it? Do you not care? Do you do certain colors? What's the gimmick for you?
I gotta have white tape. I
Okay.
cannot do black. Gotta have white tape, goes from the heel to the toe, and I got a particular way to put up the wax on my stick, and
Okay.
it's just a little pregame thing.
As any hockey player would. Your dream car, fake or real?
Oh gosh, I don't have a dream car.
You don't? I just
No.
said the mystery machine from Scooby-Doo because that seems cool.
Gosh.
Batmobile has been a common answer. A lot of the older coaches
That-
pick like
that would
something
be cool.
classic.
That would be cool. I will say a car with the top handles of the wings. You know how like
Oh,
the door,
like a DeLorean kind of
Yeah,
from Back to
yeah.
the Future? Okay, I see the vision.
go with
vision. Your favorite athlete, either right now or when you were younger?
Gosh. I guess I just gotta go with Wayne Gretzky. I gotta go classic.
Yeah, you can't beat
Can't
the
go
best.
wrong.
You can't. All right, and then the most important question that I like to ask here. You're going to the movies. I need your order. I need a snack, I need a drink, and I need a candy. What are you getting?
Popcorn,
Okay.
drink, water. I don't like carbonation. I'm very picky.
Interesting.
I will go
Okay, I'll
Sober
respect it
Life
that you
water.
don't. I respect that you don't like the carbonation. It's not like I'm watching shit. You just don't like carbonation.
Yeah.
You are the first person I think I've ever met that has said that. That's wild.
I'm particular breed.
Respect.
Candy, not a big sugar person, but I do love peanut butter, so I guess I'd go with like Reese's peanut butter cups.
Okay, that's back to back. Bill Mossels, our AD, was the last interview before you, and he said Reese's Pieces. So keeping with the trend there. All right, we'll get back on track here. Talk to me. I know there's not a lot of you on campus yet, but talk to me about the culture of the team so far. It's just I see like 4 of you. Maybe it's more of you on campus. Maybe it's not working on the ice right now. But talk to me about the group right now. It's an exciting time with all the new sports coming up and being added every year, it seems like. And with you guys coming up, it's you and Lacrosse kind of up next. So just talk to me about the vibes right now.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic, but it is awesome. We've got I think it's 8 or 9 girls here on campus, but due to everyone's class schedule and not being an official team, it's hard to get ice time, but we've been thankful enough to work with the ice staff as well as our coach has been able to get us various times throughout the day. So that way, if we've got a 1-hour break, we're out there on the ice, even if it is only an hour or 30 minutes, we're out there putting in the work. So I think culturally wise, we're definitely a hardworking, driven, enthusiastic team. And I think that's going to really take us far this next season.
And for you personally, has it been challenging that you guys aren't necessarily official yet and still trying to like manage all your schoolwork, and then when you can get on the ice time? Is it difficult for you, or are you used to it at this point?
It's definitely a change for sure, but I think MSOE's been taking really good care of us. Even though we are an official team, we still do have a locker room. We're working on creating a stick rack to make sure that all of our belongings are secure, yet we can still go out and play the sport that we came here to do.
And you said we're in the process of making a stick rack. I think from what I've heard, you're being a little humble. I've heard that you're like designing it and you're going to fabricate it. Can you confirm that?
Yes, I can.
So tell me about that process. I came from construction before I got to MSOE, but I was more of like a general laborer, like behind the scenes pricing type guy. I wasn't in the design aspect of it all. So just explain to us what goes into making a stick rack, I guess.
Yeah, so this is actually a really unique case. So it started this last semester with my project management class, and we just had to come up with a problem and figure out how to solve it and work with our clients. So ultimately, I was like, hey, I got an issue that we can solve. How about we make a stick rack for the women's hockey team because we don't have one? And through that, we had a group of about 4 people, and we went into all the logistics of pricing, ordering materials, what type of materials, working with the actual girls on the team, working with the coach, the AD, just to see how big they want the stick rack, what kind of material, what do you want it to look like. And so we used 3D modeling software to make a mock-up of what we're going to build, and we actually have all of the components downstairs of the current, and we're going to be building it real soon, and hopefully in the next few weeks the team can be using it.
So I know the men's one is a little beat up.
Yes.
So you're going to have a bright, shiny new one. Can you give me a little description? It's going to be black. It's going to be red. It's going to be branded, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And is it wood or is it going to be something a little more durable?
It is not wood. We're actually making it out of, in simple terms, a type of plastic. So there's a lot of fancy words, unless you want to hear like 80-20 frames. No one's really going to know what that means.
That's a little out of my league. But yes. Hey, if we get good feedback on this, maybe we'll have to bring you back for a special just about the stick rack and all the ins and outs. But Anika, your last question here is, what do you hope to take away from your experience as a college athlete, and why did you choose to be a college athlete?
So, as I've said, I've been playing hockey since I was 3 years old. I love the competitive edge. I love how the game is physical. And so just to have the opportunity to come here and represent your university and play a sport that you loved and meet a bunch of new girls, I couldn't say no to the opportunity. And through this experience, I honestly just want to help grow the women's hockey community, because growing up, I didn't always have a team to play on for women, so I oftentimes played co-ed, and I know that's pretty typical for anyone growing up in my age as a woman. So I think growing the women's hockey community and giving a woman a place to go and play college hockey even would be awesome, and of course just to take away some memories that will last a lifetime.
And you heard it here first from a member of the inaugural MSOE women's hockey team, Anika Einbeck. Anika, good luck to you. We've got the season coming up next winter. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
All right, and at this time, I am joined by MSOE swimmer Chloe Moran. Chloe, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to ask you, let's start things off. You were on the first ever women's swimming team here at MSOE. You guys literally just wrapped up your first season ever over the weekend. Tell me how the season went. Was it everything you hoped for?
It was everything I hoped for and more. Our season was great. We had really great, some top finishes, really great talent. We are still pretty small because it's that first year. We're still getting things ramped up, but we did really well for being a first year team. I actually have some friends on other teams that we competed against. It's wow, you guys have really big talent for it being your first year. So it's exciting.
Love to hear that. So tell me about how you started swimming. Have you been swimming since an early age? Have you been swimming competitively for a long time? What's your history in the pool?
Yeah, so I've been swimming for about 12 years now, all competitively. I started by taking some swim lessons, and the swim coach was like, hey, to my mom, you should probably put her on a swim team. She's pretty good. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I started. I've always been a distance, freestyle, and backstroke swimmer, so 12 years of competitive in all those strokes.
Do you have a favorite or an event you feel like you personally are the best at? This is mine. This is where I kill it.
Either the 200-yard backstroke or the mile.
Okay. Yeah, I could never swim a mile. So shout out to you for even, that being in your repertoire. So tell me then, how did you come to be on the swim team here at MSOE? First season, I'm sure there were rumblings initially, and then it kind of presents itself. Talk to me about that process.
Yeah, so in high school, I was kind of looking to be recruited for swim, but I found MSOE and fell in love with the major. I was on the triathlon team a little bit, so I did have some connections with the sports department. I did cross country and track for a few years, and then I heard we were having a swim team, so I really focused in on that. I actually worked with the initial assistant coach, Coach Janice, and then met Coach Rowling, and it kind of just went from there.
So obviously you said you were on the triathlon team, you were on the track and cross country teams. How has the adjustment been made to the swimming team? You said you were a double major. How is the time management? How is the balance of things for you?
Yeah, so the adjustment from going through different sports is pretty similar. All the practices are relatively the same length. They were in high school too, so that wasn't much of an adjustment. I am a double major. And honestly, for me, time management hasn't been hard. I learned really early in high school that if you're going to be on sports, you do have to get your stuff done, not all at night. So I was really good at getting stuff done during the day. And I use my free hours a lot during the day to do that. So time management's never really been a problem for me personally. Athletics have actually helped me with that and being able to really like get a solidified schedule of when I need to do work, when I can do sports, when I can like hang out with friends and things like that.
For sure. We've heard so many athletes talk about like when they do finish, it's like so much free time. Sometimes it's almost a struggle to get back into the swing of things. You mentioned you were trying to be recruited out of high school as a swimmer, and then you found MSOE and that kind of dictated your choice. What made you choose MSOE in your initial search?
Yeah, so I did the accepted students day, and I loved that there was no TAs. I like that we were learning with the professors, like one-on-one, basically. The class sizes were smaller, and I really liked the community feel that MSOE gave off, because you are in a bigger city, but campus still feels like a college campus, but there's always things to do. And I just remember like we were doing a tour of the campus and everyone was in their MSOE gear. And I thought it was super cool that people like wanted to rep MSOE while being here. Because I had gone to a few bigger schools and done tours and like no one was really wearing like college like merchandise. And I was like, wow, that's really a nice community to be in.
Yeah, and it's awesome. I've only been here since October and I obviously love it here. Tell me a little bit about the team you guys have yourself. What's the culture like? What's the vibe of this team? Obviously, we've been adding new sports, it seems like, every year. You guys just took your turn. We have women's lacrosse is about to debut this spring. Then down the line, we have women's hockey coming next winter, along with women's bowling. Talk to me about just this team as a whole.
Yeah, oh gosh, I love our team. So it's a bit different because the women's team does still practice with the men's team. We do practices, meets, team bonding all together. So that's been really cool too, getting to like hang out with the guys team. And it's just a really close knit like team. The women's team specifically, we're a bit smaller. I think there's 8 or 9 of us. Okay. And it's like everyone gets along great. There's a bunch of different majors. Everyone's willing to like help each other out in classes, outside of classes. We all really get behind each other and like hype each other up at the meet and even practices too. It's like there's always high fives, there's always hugging going on, there's always cheering. So it's a really like close team, but it's also very a supportive team, which has been really nice to have.
Love hearing that. And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Raider Rapid Fire, where I'm just going to ask you some quick questions. I want off-the-cuff answers right off the top of your head. I'm not sure if this applies to swimming as much, but what's your go-to gear brand? If you're getting goggles, if you're getting a cap, if you're getting all your stuff, what brand do you want?
Speedo.
Okay, I kind of figured that that's kind of like the only real like swimming unique name that I could pull. So that fits. If you had a dream car, could be fake, it could be real. Do you have one in mind?
I really like Aston Martins. I don't have a type or model, but really a good car.
Okay, that's fancy. Mine was just a mystery machine. So yeah, I'll take the van. That's fine. Next question. Your favorite athlete could be now or could be growing up?
Oh, Missy Franklin or Michael Phelps.
Okay, that makes sense. That's right in that wheelhouse of time.
Yeah.
Then you can give me either or. You can either give me your go-to pregame song or like your anti-pregame song. Like what is the song that like you hear it when you walk in a pool or something and you're like, oh my God, I turn it off.
My go-to pregame song is definitely Cyclone.
That's fitting. Water Cyclone, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, sure. All right, and then the most important question. This is my favorite to ask everyone. You're going to the movies.
Okay.
I need a snack. I need a drink. I need a candy. I need one of each category. What are you getting?
Oh, popcorn for sure.
Okay.
Probably water because I don't like soda or juice. And then candy, probably Swedish Fish.
Swedish Fish. All right. Mad respect for that. You saved yourself. I was like, another water person. There's too many people who are like, I don't like soda. And it's like, you're at the movies, you know? When in Rome, just have a soda. But great. All right. We'll get back on track here. So tell me, why did you choose to be a college athlete? And what do you hope to take away from your college sports experience here at MSOE?
So for me, I really liked being an athlete in high school. It was a really good time for me to not have to focus on school or anything outside of school. It was just like, you can get in the water, you can swim, you can clear your head a little bit. It's a really good stress reliever. And for me, it always was like, oh, I get to go hang out with people who I may not normally like hang out with in school, like different years, different majors, whatever it may be.
Sure.
So I really wanted to do athletics in college for that same reason. It's that stress reliever, getting to know people who aren't going to be in my major, who I'm not going to see like typically on campus.
Sure.
So that was a big drive for me. I also liked being able to have a competitive like aspect to my schooling.
An outlet. Almost.
Yeah, an outlet.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because like you can compete for grades, but here you don't have to. Mm-hmm. And it's still like I get to like compete in something.
Right.
And it's still like that drive of
Sure.
like athletics. Yeah.
Sure. That's awesome. I love hearing that. Well, congratulations on completing the first ever season of swimming here at MSOE. I want to thank you for joining me, Chloe, and hopefully we see you out there next season.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you to Alana, Anika, and Chloe for joining us this week. We want to congratulate our swimming teams on completing their inaugural season this past weekend, and we wish good luck to women's lacrosse with their first ever season just around the corner. Keep your eye out for more spring sports previews coming soon. Thank you again, as always, for listening. You can follow Raider Athletics on YouTube at MSOE Raider Athletics, and you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MSOE_Raiders. Don't forget to find us on Spotify too. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, repost, share, and get the word out to all your Raider friends and family. We want you to be heard. Mention us on social media and tell us what you want to hear about. Go Raiders!